This is your chance to get one of baseball's holy grail cards because right now, Golden Auctions has a 1909 T206 Honus Wagner card for sale. And I talked to some people in the industry who think that it might sell for as much as $6 million, which is hard to believe. One, considering the condition, and two, that the 1952 Mickey Mantle has kind of overtaken the Honus Wagner as the top card in the hobby. But if you look, the current bidding right now is already at $3 million, which comes out to $3.5 million with the buyer's premium. So with still 20 days left to go, keep an eye on this because this might break the all-time record for at least Honus Wagner cards, or maybe for any sports card as a whole. But this card is pretty special because it was first discovered in a local show in Connecticut in 1985. And that's when a father and son card dealer team bought the card at that show. I couldn't find the price of it. And then this card became nicknamed the Connecticut Wagner because there are so few of them, just in general, that it's easy to name them after states. So this father and son team held the card for 25 years, and they eventually sold it at auction in 2010 for $282,000, which is before really the card started to take off, and we're going to show you some of these. So the person who bought it from them displayed it in a museum, and they had a complete T206 set, and it was displayed at the Detroit Institute of Arts, which was pretty awesome. They sold it 10 years later, and that owner is the one that's now bringing it to auction as we speak. And it's actually hard to find prices for these cards because they so few sell, that actually in the auction listing themselves, the seller has listed almost these charts as if I made them in Excel in 1990, the current prices from different grades. So an authentic T206 Wagner recently sold for $2 million in 2023. And then they have their PR1, so poor grading PSA 1, last sold for $3 million in 2022. And then a 2 sold for $7.5 million. So that's why some people think this one will sell for in the range of about $6 million. I'm fascinated. They said that no Honus Wagner card has ever sold for less. Every time it comes up for auction, it sells for more. So we'll keep an eye out on this. But it just reminds me, I have a very simple T206 collection. It's nothing to write home about. But I did make a video a long time ago on how these 100-year-old baseball cards are blowing my mind. And I just want to tell you about that here. So this is a video that was turned into Technicolor of New York City in 1911. So this is what America looked like at the time these cards were being produced, and it feels like a whole different world. You can see some trolleys in the background. America was just transitioning from horse-drawn carriages to automobiles. It would take about 20 more years for the for the car to take over as the main means of transportation. And you can see in the left corner here this like cigar store here. That's where probably some of these tobacco cards were sold. And this is a time where there was no bras invented, there was no toaster, and Band-Aids hadn't been invented yet. So here's one. You can get a tobacco card for under $100, and I have to say, really, when I have these cards, it's amazing to me that even though it's a SGC1, and the corners are really rounded, and there's maybe a crease here and there, these cards are literally still in better condition than some of my childhood collection baseball cards that I may have creased or played games with and whatnot. And they've lasted for over 116 years from when they were produced. So for me, the journey of these cards to make it over 116 years to my collection and still be in pretty good shape is just what kind of blows my mind. And so if you're ever thinking about holding a piece of real baseball card history, I recommend these tobacco cards. That you can get them for under $100, and you really feel a connection to the long history of baseball cards. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching this video, and be sure to watch one of these other videos that YouTube says you'll enjoy next. If you're still watching, below the video we have links to these guides where we list the top baseball cards from Topps every year for the decade of the 80s and the 70s. So if you're looking to cash in on your collection and find the most valuable cards to sell, or if you're opening wax and want to know what your chase cards are, these have been a real big help to many of you who bought them. Thanks.